Was it normal as a kid growing up in the 90s to get the wooden spoon, belt, shoe, switch, etc.? I'm born 1991 and I got the wooden spoon, belt and an occasional hairbrush or shoe. La chancla. I got a thin piece of wood trim. Until Dad remembered that I'm paralyzed on my backside, among other places, so it wouldn't do as intended. Looking back, the fact that he felt he had to switch discipline tactics because I was only emotionally affected and not physically hurt is pretty effed up. My brothers and I used to laugh when our mom would spank us. And then she started using a flat cheese grater. In the 60s and 70s, it sometimes seemed like I was getting beat with a belt or a switch on a daily basis. My parents used to say, "We wouldn't whip you if we didn't love you." I wished they loved me less. Somehow, I managed to love my child without beating her. Yes, I think a belt was the thinnest object my family ever used. I've heard a lot of people in my age group, 30s, talk about getting hit with switches. I guess we were all pretty aware that it was falling out of favor from TV. Because it seems like everyone I've talked to about the subject threatened their parents with calling CPS. These practices depend a lot on cultural background, socio-economic backgrounds, etc. I was a 90s kid and was never punished physically in any way, and neither was anyone I knew. I am now a teacher and know many families from different cultural backgrounds than my own for whom this remains normal to this day. I do think that for the vast majority of families the punishment is mild, hands, and infrequent, only severe misbehavior. In most states this type of punishment is illegal, and this is done and reported less frequently. Me and my siblings got flat hand, bare butt, but we had friends who got wooden spoons. Especially the one with the hole in it, because apparently it hurt more? At that time, the belt was considered on the line for abuse, but hand or spoon was okay, but it was starting to get into the times of no spanking whatever being thought of as abuse. Up until I was in elementary school, somewhere between 89 and 91 probably, kids at my school got disciplined if they got sent to the principal's office. I think it was a ruler to the butt, pants on, but I'm not sure. They stopped the practice though after too many parents complained. It was already starting to be considered an outdated way of dealing with students by then. I am born in 2000 and my mom did that. I would say prior to the 70s very normal. 70s and 80s maybe 50-50, though spanking and threatening with these objects pretty normal. Actually using them not as common. 90s getting less common and starting to be seen more as abusive, especially in schools. Yes, some schools would paddle kids. And 2000s not unheard of but frowned upon by a growing subset of parents and looked down upon by many for sure. Though in certain groups there was some popularity in the spare the rod spoil the child, taken to mean beat your child rather than the intended guide your child, but gentle parenting and advocating against all spanking was starting to take off too.
Yup.
I, 31M, started responding to this question, then realized I wrote several paragraphs in detail about my worst experience. Guess I'm still physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually scarred. Wooden spoon, phone cord, shoe, hairbrush, even a paddle-shaped cutting board. Or grandma telling you to go get a hickory switch. And if you didn't bring back a big, stout enough one, she'd make you get another and then use both. Totally normal thing. They were also allowed to spank, paddle you at school in the 80s. Whoop your ass so bad you don't sit down for a week. My mom used a plastic ladle until she broke it, busting my butt with it. She stopped after that BC she didn't want to possibly break her new ladle. I only got spanked once. I had apparently kicked a dog. I was old enough to know not to do it, but young enough to not really remember it anymore. And my dad spanked me so hard I still flinch when people mistreat animals. I mean, it could be worse. I don't want to be around people like that anyway. It's been 21 to 22 years. My mother was the disciplinarian in my household. She would use whatever weapon she could find at the moment, i.e. belts, wooden spoon, shoe or switch. She used a flip-flop once, but it broke my skin and I ruined a pair of trousers with bloodstains. The worst part, she liked to talk. Every time she spoke a word she delivered a blow. I, whack, told, whack, you, whack. You get the picture. My parents had a balsa wood paddle in the shape of a hand. I only got the belt once, when I went to a neighbor's house without telling anyone. 1975 hairbrush, wooden spoon, plastic spatula, belt, candlestick holder, ruler, none of which I've ever considered using on my kids' BTW. Edit. Letter. I grew up in a Spanish household and had an old Italian babysitter. I never had a chance. Belts and slippers and wooden spoons were a staple of my childhood. Yeah, I've experienced this a couple of times. My dad always wanted our pants down for it. Like, naked. Once he hit me with a bamboo stick on my bare buttocks. It hurt pretty bad. Later he just laid me across his lap, pulled my pants and panties down and started hitting while saying, "I will hit you until you cry." I'm pretty sure this wasn't normal spanking anymore, but instead physical abuse. Like, why did I have to be humiliated like that with my pants down? He also sexually abused me.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.